So next up, we have Damian Mario Lang. And Damian, I'm so grateful that you're here. I met Damian in a writing class at the Loft. Welcome. Why don't you share a little bit about yourself? And yeah, welcome.
How's that?
Perfect.
There we go. When everyone says, why don't you share a little bit about yourself? It's such a vague, it's not really a question. And so you're just left open with this sea of, well, what the hell am I going to share about myself? I'm tall, I'm 6'4". How's that? I'm in my bedroom. Myself, I have 2 legs and 2 arms. I have 10 digits, both top and bottom. I recently cut my hair. I'm very pleased with it. Prior to now, it was out to here. I do not have a website. I like your smile. That's it. I'm not going to go on about myself. I'd rather just read the poems. So, you ready? All right. So this is called the Cauldron of Love. And I just like to start it with the beginning of a Van Morrison song, which is, "We were born before the wind." Here, I can see better this way. We are pieces of wood in the fiery cauldron of love. The flames lick our ego edges, coaxing us to burn brighter. The cauldron of love is not all dolphiny and fluff. Its core is galactic white light, and you will evaporate quickly. But you might pop in bright colors like a Roman candle on your way out of sight. The wood pile of us encircles the blazing, each of us watching, waiting, some scared stiff, others anticipating. The cauldron will melt our armor, we know this much. But because we've been cloaked in its suffering, suffocating weight for so long, our courage and fear have been at war since the day we were born. What would happen if we all revealed every sliver of pain, every human source of shame? What if we all could be seen and heard, oozing and screaming out every hurt we've carried up until now? I'll tell you, our fear would dissolve. Our hearts would be soaked in the warm moisture of shame's tears. Imagine the release of all that shit after all these years. The heat and light of the sun's seeds of magic creation would dry you off. Yeah, you, that ego identity, that cloak, that shell of a mirage, the crusty layers of your personal crusty conditioning. In the heat of love's waves, your mystery would be revealed. And in the shedding of your socialized skin, as the sunshine of love soothes its way in, your very own heart will remember. Yeah, the you that is your soul, connected with your heart, will remember the great unity that is life itself. Stripped naked, standing strong, are curled in a fetal position. The cauldron of love is your mother, and she loves you completely, utterly. There is no resistance. It doesn't exist. Imagine you now, this moment, as these words cascade from my mouth, the jolt of your soul's vibrating surge, pushing its way from the place inside of you buried so deep, you have no conceptual thought of what it is. Imagine your heart breaking your fear of pain in half or in 1,000 pieces, like the shell of an egg, an Easter egg, a cosmic egg, whatever. Just imagine you, your soul, the being beneath all that keeps you separate from everybody else, is all of a sudden nakedly exposed, never seen before, freshly expressed. This is what the cauldron of love can do for you. This is what love does. We are pieces of wood in the fiery cauldron of love. The flames lick our ego's edges, coaxing us to burn brighter. Fear not, for death, in all its forms, is simply the recreation of life, and love is the source. There you go. Oh, look at, they're all clapping. All right. Poem number 2. So this was written many, many years ago. My mother was against every girl and young woman I brought home. She treated them all with a sharp tongue of cold defense, mixed sometimes with aggression. She was never sincerely welcoming to any of them. I had to prepare for protecting my female guests from her strange witchy ways. She did favor Terry, though. Terry was mulatto, sexy as a human kitten and as fierce as a junkyard dog. Terry was in my mother's comfort zone. Somehow she could relate to her. She came from the ghetto, had suffered the hardship of being sexually attractive, and had developed an animalistic vibe to defend herself from unwanted assailants. She was as pretty and as cute as a doll, but her surface was hard and tough. You could see the shell, and you could hear the deep inner rumbling of her ferocity, waiting to be triggered. My mom took her in. Terry flirted with me and kept her distance from everyone. She was 5'3" of cinnamon tiger. I was attracted to her soft-lidded big eyes. I could see the sorrow in them behind the sparks, flashing fire, warning of the burning. But I was intrigued and also intimidated. Terry was independent, had a history of unknown battles to me, yet the wars fought scarred her with an armor. I wanted to get close, but feared her power. She was a little older than me. She knew about sex, drugs, mean people, and urban combat. If she wouldn't have been so sexually charged, I never would have approached her. As it was, she was placed in the attic across the room from me. In the late 70s and early 80s, courtship in my life anyway was mostly nonverbal. Just one look and I knew she wanted me. We had been lying in our beds one warm summer morning. I just woke up and propped myself on my elbows to scan my surroundings. Terry was there, awake, and she greeted me kindly. I returned it and stared at her. She stared back. And then with that Mae West confidence, she said, "Well, are you going to come over here or what?" That's how our intimate relation started. I crawled over to her bed and we kissed. And then she went down on me, and then we fucked. That was the general way things went back then. A kiss was immediately deep, which quickly led to fondling and disrobing, oral followed by insertion. When it was over, we went about our way and lay there having a conversation. With Terry, the talking was affectionate, tender, sweet. She had become soft all over, inside and out. And each and every morning, like clockwork that summer, she started our day with giving me oral satisfaction first thing upon waking. I was in heaven. She bought cocaine and we snorted it and went skinny dipping at Cedar Lake. She sprinkled it on my private parts and we had intercourse all through the night. When Terry wore a bikini and her hair in pigtails, it was hard to focus on anything other than touching her and kissing her, those juicy mulatto lips. She was a tender lover who curled up in my arms to rest after sucking and fucking my brains out. Her whole demeanor in public had changed. It appeared our bonding had allowed her defenses to chill out, and she became warmer and smiled more. She looked less wounded and more happy.
Is that it, Damian? You have a little bit more time.
All right, you ready? Is it okay if I do something I didn't write?
Sure, go for it.
All right. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. You guys can sing along if you want. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, I don't know the tune. A time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. I think it goes like that. Anyway, I just wanted to sing a little bit of
Love
that song.
it.
But here's a great section of it. Hold on a second. A time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. We are in that time. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Damian. I love this song at the end. You have a great voice.
Oh.
Okay.